Greetings, welcome back to CS195 Web Development. This is week 9, DOM modification. We're on to changing the class. Alright, this is a useful feature for if you already have the CSS set up in your style tag or your style sheet, whatever you're working with. If you just change the class of an element, it'll automatically take everything that you already have set up. So it makes it really nice for you to have that ability. So our objective is to understand how to select an element, then change the class of that element. Your success criteria is being able to modify the class attribute by adding another class to a group of elements. So again, the concept is it might already have a class, but you're going to add another class to it, so it all of a sudden get all of those properties that of class you've already had. So let's go ahead and jump into the con video, and then we'll test it out ourselves.
In the last talkthrough, I showed how to set styles in JavaScript, like this. Now, if you set a lot of styles in JavaScript, you could end up with hundreds of lines of code just setting CSS property values, and that can really clutter up your JavaScript. There's another way we could do this. We could create a CSS class and add a CSS rule for that class with the new styles that we want, and then dynamically add that class name in JavaScript. Let's start up here at the style tag and try this out. We'll make a cat colors class and a CSS rule for it, and it will have color orange. And
so again, if you're looking at this, she's creating this rule. There's no class in here called cat colors, right? There's no class here. She's just creating this, waiting for there to be one.
And background color black. Now to assign that to the heading element, we can say heading L dot class name equals cat colors. And we can delete the assignment of the color and background color in JavaScript. Ta-da! So that worked. Now notice something weird. The HTML attribute for class names is just class. If I had done this in HTML, it would have been class equals cat colors. But when I did it in JavaScript, I had to say dot class name, which is not what we're used to. And that is because class is actually a keyword in the JavaScript language, which has a special meaning for the language. So because of that, browsers decided to use class name to refer to the HTML class attribute, just to make sure they wouldn't get confused. So remember, if you want to set the class attribute of an element, you say dot class name equals. Now to assign that to each of the animal names, we can put it inside the loop. So name else I dot class name equals cat colors. That will add the class name, but actually it will remove any classes that were there before because we said equals. So if we had any classes there before, those are now gone, right? Now they did have classes before, class equals animal, and so that's become cat colors. So what we really want to do is add a new class name to this class attribute. And we can do that by saying plus equals space cat colors. There we go. So that's the safe thing to do because it will take whatever the previous class was, add a space, and then the new class to it. There is another way to do this in newer browsers using the class list property. So to do that, we say name else I dot class list dot add cat colors. Now that's a lot nicer, but doesn't work everywhere. So if you do want to use that, you have to go to caniuse.com and make sure it's supported in all the browsers that you want your web page to work in. It is a lot nicer, but it's not nice if your web page breaks because you're using a function that the browser doesn't know about. So I'll just comment it out because I want mine working in a lot of browsers. There are still lots of times when we want to change individual styles instead of assign class names. So once again, just remember that you have both of these tools in your toolbox and think about what might be best depending on the situation.
All right, so let's go ahead and try this out real quick. Head back to Trinket. All right, so let's just make sure this is all reset just in case it's not saving stuff from last time. All right, good. So again, we have our ID variable and the header 1, right? We already have this list color. So we already have it. It's already turning it red. We want to add this list to the header as well. Again, and maybe this probably shouldn't be called .list, .red, or .color red, or something like that would make more sense. But for now, again, we already have it. .list is colored red. So we want to add the class to this. So our first thing is to select it. And again, we can do this all in one line, but we're going to practice the 2 lines getting as a variable. So let's do header L, and then document.get element by, remember the camel case, ID, and then header 1 is the ID, so header 1, and then let's go ahead and change this as well. So header L dot, and remember what she said, it's not class because that's protected, it's used by JavaScript already, so it's class name. And there is no name, so we're not going to do the plus equal, we'll just do equals, and then we already know what it is, so we just list, and you can see as soon as I did that, it changed that to red. And that's kind of the beauty of how this works, is just adding that thing. You could do it for array like she did. I could add another class to this if I wanted to, and then change some more stuff here. But the bottom line is, again, if you already have something up here, you already have this style, then you can just add the class later to whatever you want. So that's kind of how that works. And it's very similar to everything you did so far. It's just you got to select it, and then you're changing the class name. So with that, go ahead and do your practices, con challenge, and then your journal entry, and we'll see you next lesson.